In the cramped confines of a housing project in Hampton, Virginia, where concrete and desperation seemed to be the only constants, a boy was born to a world indifferent and relentless. The year was 1975, but for Allen Iverson, it might as well have been a lifetime away from hope. A flicker of light in the darkness, he would become an undeniable force backslash at 2014, a symbol of resilience against the crushing weight of circumstance. My name is Elizabeth, and today I'm telling you the story of Allen Iverson. In the shadowy streets of his neighborhood, the cacophony of life was a symphony that rang harsh and discordant. The crackle of gunfire echoed in the distance, punctuated by the wailing sirens of police cars responding to yet another tragedy. Amidst this chaos, Allen found solace in the simple act of putting a ball through a hoop. It was basketball that first whispered promises of freedom into his heart. The gleaming blacktop court that stood at the center of the housing project became his stage, and he was its unquestioned star. Yet beneath the shiny exterior of his talent lay a tormented soul, grappling with the weight of expectation and the lingering specter of despair. As the years passed, Allen's legend grew, and the outside world began to take notice. Scholarship offers rained down like manna from heaven, promising a way out of his bleak surroundings. But Allen, ever the skeptic, could not shake the feeling that opportunity was but another trap waiting to ensnare him. And so, he chose a different path backslash at 2014, one that would lead him to the prestigious University of Georgia. It was there that Allen would face the greatest test of his young life, proving himself worthy of redemption and love in a world that had long since given up on him. Under the tutelage of head coach Jim Calhoun, Allen's raw talent began to blossom into something truly magnificent. He danced on the court with an agility and grace that defied logic, shattering expectations and leaving opponents in his wake. But off the court, he struggled to find balance in a world that seemed determined to tear him apart. Demons haunted Allen's every step, whispering that he was unworthy of the success that had seemingly been bestowed upon him. And when tragedy struck, threatening to shatter the fragile foundation of his dream, Allen would be forced to confront the darkness within himself and make a choice, give in to the fear or rise above it. The NBA draft loomed large on the horizon, and with it came the promise of riches and adulation beyond even Allen's wildest dreams. But as the date drew nearer, he found himself paralyzed by indecision, uncertain if he was truly ready to step into the limelight and embrace his destiny. In the end, it was love that won out backslash at 2014, the unwavering support of his family, and the bond with his beloved Aunt Jeannie. Together, they strengthened Allen's resolve, reminding him that he was more than just a basketball player. He was a son, a brother, a friend backslash at 2014, a beacon of hope in a world that so desperately needed it. The moment the NBA commissioner announced his name as the first pick in the draft, it seemed as if the heavens themselves had conspired to crown Allen Iverson as the savior of basketball. And though the years would bring pain and heartache, the trials and tribulations that come with fame and fortune, Allen never wavered in his pursuit of greatness. For in the face of adversity, he found strength. In the midst of chaos, he discovered peace. And when all seemed lost, he rose again backslash at 2014, a testament to the indomitable human spirit that lies within us all. So let the story of Allen Iverson serve as a reminder that no matter our circumstances or the challenges we face, there is always hope. That even in the darkest corners of our world, we can find light and love, and that when we choose to believe in ourselves, there is truly no limit to what we can achieve. For Allen Iverson, the answer is not just a basketball player backslash at 2014. He is a symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope, and a testament to the power of the human spirit. His story is one that transcends the boundaries of sport and speaks to the heart of what it means to be alive. And so, my friends, I leave you with this. Remember Allen Iverson, not just as a basketball player, but as a man who dared to dream, who dared to rise above his circumstances, and who dared to defy the odds. For in the end, it is our dreams that define us /A2014, not our failures or our fears, but the dreams we dare to chase. In the hallowed halls of basketball history, Allen Iverson stands as a shining example of what can be achieved when we have the courage to believe. May his story inspire you, challenge you, and ultimately help you discover your own answer. Born on a sweltering summer's day in 1975, Allen Iverson entered a world far removed from the glitz and glamour of professional basketball courts. In the gritty, industrial heartland of Hampton, Virginia, Allen was the third child of two teenagers grappling with the complexities of adolescence and the harsh realities of poverty. His mother, Dolores, a hardworking single parent, struggled tirelessly to provide for her brood, while his father, Allen Sr., was a figure who drifted in and out of their lives like an elusive ghost. Hampton, a town steeped in history, seemed to be a prison for the young Iverson. The air thick with the scent of salt water, fishing boats, and dilapidated buildings told tales of better days long past. Yet, amidst the decay, Allen found solace in basketball. It was an escape, a ticket out of the bleak world that had confined him since birth. Dolores, though burdened by financial difficulties, instilled within her children an unwavering sense of resilience and determination. She would often remind them, hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. It was a mantra that Allen would carry with him throughout his life. The Iversons were not dreamers in the traditional sense, but survivors. They lived their lives one day at a time, each hardship forged into character, each struggle strengthening their resolve. As Dolores pushed Allen towards school and sport, Allen Sr., when present, would challenge him to be better, faster, stronger. This push-pull dynamic was the crucible from which Allen's indomitable spirit emerged. In the face of adversity, the spark that ignited Allen's passion for basketball burned brighter. He practiced in empty school gyms, honing his skills under the harsh glare of unforgiving fluorescent lights. The sound of the ball swishing through the net became an anthem of hope, a testament to the dreams and aspirations that lay hidden beneath the surface of their hard-scrabble existence. Little did they know that this humble Hampton court would one day become the launchpad for an extraordinary journey, a journey that would transform a boy from a troubled town into a legend known as the Answer. The world was about to discover Allen Iverson, a young man born of struggle and resilience, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. In the humble confines of a small row house nestled in the heart of Hampton, Virginia, Allen Iverson entered the world, his cries echoing through the dimly lit halls of a home teeming with love and struggle. Born on the sweltering summer day of June 7, 1975, to Florence and Allen Sr. He was the product of an environment where hardship seemed an eternal companion, but resilience was the only option. The air outside his home carried a heavy scent of salt water, the nearby Chesapeake Bay a constant reminder of the limits one must confront to thrive. Allen's world, much like that bay, was vast and unpredictable, a crucible forged in the fires of poverty, crime, and the relentless march of time. His mother, Florence, a tireless figure who worked multiple jobs to keep her family afloat, stood as his first beacon of strength, an unyielding force against the tide that threatened to consume them. As Allen grew, he became a reflection of his environment, spirited, tenacious, and fiercely independent. A product of public schools where resources were sparse and opportunities even scarcer, Allen found solace on the playgrounds and basketball courts that dotted the city landscape. The hard-packed asphalt beneath his feet seemed to call out to him, demanding he prove himself, to show the world what lay hidden within him. It was on one such court where the first signs of greatness began to emerge. Allen, still a boy in the eyes of the world, but growing ever faster towards manhood, took to basketball like a fish to water. His small frame belied the sheer power that coursed through his muscles as he leapt into the air, defying gravity with each soaring jump and bounding dribble. He was an angry dance of limbs and determination, a tempest of energy that refused to be contained by any boundary or expectation. As he honed his skills, it became apparent that Allen was more than just another kid from the projects. There was a fire in him, an undeniable spark that burned brighter with each passing day. It was as if the weight of his circumstances had forged within him a furnace fueled by ambition and the raw desire to escape the confines of his world. The first time he stepped onto the basketball court at Bethel High School, it felt as though the world had shifted on its axis. Allen Iverson was no longer just a boy from Hampton. He was the answer, a symbol of hope, a promise that even in the darkest corners of America there existed the possibility of something more, of a brighter future waiting to be grasped by those with the courage to reach for it. In the heart of Hampton, Virginia, Allen Iverson was forged in the crucible of a tumultuous upbringing that would forever shape his destiny. The streets echoed with tales of his father's absence, his mother's relentless struggle to provide, and the unyielding love of his grandmother as Allen navigated the treacherous waters of adolescence. In the labyrinthine alleys of his neighborhood, the young Iverson honed his prodigious talent on the basketball court, a sanctuary amidst the chaos. Yet, even here, he was not immune to the vicissitudes of life. A broken home left him searching for solace and understanding, often finding it in the arms of those who promised security, but ultimately betrayed him. One such figure was G. McGee, a local drug dealer who took Iverson under his wing, providing him with material comforts and an entourage of companionship. However, this fleeting affection came at a steep price, one that Allen would later realize was the very foundation of his downfall. As the years passed, Allen's life began to unravel, plagued by addiction, infidelity, and the relentless pursuit of fleeting satisfactions. Yet, amidst this whirlwind of chaos, there was a beacon of hope: his wife, Tawana. Their love story was as tumultuous as it was enduring. Tawana stood by Allen during his darkest hours, offering him the unwavering support that he desperately needed to confront his demons and reclaim his life. Together, they navigated the treacherous waters of addiction, infidelity, and betrayal, emerging on the other side with a renewed sense of purpose. Their love proved to be Allen's salvation. It was in their shared struggles that he found the strength to rebuild his life, to confront the demons that had haunted him for so long, and ultimately to become the answer. Yet, even as Allen ascended to the pinnacle of basketball greatness, his battles were far from over. Fame and fortune brought with them a new set of challenges, as Allen grappled with the weight of expectations and the relentless scrutiny of the public eye. In the face of these trials, Allen Iverson found redemption not in the accolades or the adoration of fans, but in the love that he had fought so hard to keep. For it was in the arms of his family and the embrace of his wife that he discovered the true meaning of perseverance, resilience, and raw ambition, qualities that would forever define his indomitable spirit. In the smoldering crucible of Hampton, Virginia, nestled between the tattered remnants of dilapidated buildings, Allen Iverson was born. The fifth child in a brood of 7, Allen was a spirited boy who danced to the rhythm of his own beat, even as the city around him seemed to be in a perpetual state of chaos. His world was marked by the raw, unpolished grit that only a struggling urban neighborhood could provide, a backdrop that would become the foundation upon which Allen's extraordinary tale would unfold. From an early age, Allen displayed an uncanny ability to manipulate a basketball. The ball seemed to be an extension of his very being, as if they were bound together by an unseen force. The streets of Hampton served as his first court, and the concrete served as both a stage for his burgeoning talent and a crucible in which he would hone his skills. Yet it was not just Allen's raw skill that set him apart. It was the fire burning within him, an insatiable hunger to prove himself, to rise above the circumstances that had defined his birthplace. As Allen's talent blossomed, so too did the whispers of doubt. Naysayers claimed he lacked the discipline or the intelligence required to make it in the world beyond Hampton. They said he was too small, too quick, and too brash, that his style of play was unrefined and reckless. Yet it was within these moments of adversity that Allen found solace and strength. It was during these silent hours that he would lock himself away in the dimly lit confines of his basement, poring over tapes of NBA games, learning from the greats who had come before him. In 1996, Allen's dream seemed to be within reach. He was selected with the first overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers in the NBA draft. The city of Philadelphia, a bastion of grit and determination, welcomed Allen with open arms, embracing his raw talent, his brash demeanor, and his unwavering resolve. Yet, it was not just the city that had fallen for Allen, so too had the team's general manager, Billy King. "He has more heart and desire than any player I have ever seen," King said of Allen. It was a sentiment that would echo throughout Allen's career, a testament to his unyielding determination and unwavering will to succeed. Allen's rookie season was one marked by flashes of brilliance, tempered by moments of frustration and self-doubt. He was a whirlwind on the court, a blur of quickness, agility, and breathtaking athleticism that left opponents struggling to keep pace. Yet, it was off the court where Allen's struggles truly began. The city of Philadelphia demanded nothing less than perfection from its athletes, a standard that Allen struggled to meet. He found himself at odds with the team's coach, Larry Brown, and the media, who seemed intent on tearing him down at every turn. It was during this tumultuous period that Allen sought solace in the guidance of an unexpected mentor, Julius Erving, a former 76er great known as Dr. J. "He taught me how to deal with the media, how to handle myself off the court, and most importantly, he taught me how to be a professional," Allen would later say of Erving's influence on his career. It was under Erving's tutelage that Allen began to blossom. He became a force to be reckoned with on the court, leading the 76ers to an Eastern Conference championship and earning his first NBA Most Valuable Player (MVP) award in 2001. Yet, even as he reached new heights of success, Allen remained grounded in his roots. He continued to give back to the community that had nurtured him, providing opportunities for young boys and girls just like himself. In 2006, Allen was traded from the Philadelphia 76ers to the Denver Nuggets. The move marked a new chapter in Allen's life, one filled with uncertainty, doubt, and a deep-seated fear that his best days were behind him. Yet, as always, Allen refused to be defined by the circumstances surrounding him. He embraced the challenge, using it as fuel for his insatiable hunger to prove himself once more. In 2009, Allen signed with the Memphis Grizzlies, marking the final chapter of his illustrious career. As he took to the court one last time, Allen was faced with a sobering reality: his body could no longer keep pace with the demands placed upon it. The quickness that had once dazzled crowds and left opponents in awe was now but a fading memory, a ghost of his former self. Yet, even as the curtain fell on Allen's career, he remained steadfast in his resolve to leave a lasting impact. He continued to give back to the community, providing opportunities for young athletes and serving as a shining example of what can be achieved through hard work, determination, and unwavering belief in oneself. Today, Allen Iverson stands not only as a testament to the power of perseverance, but also as a symbol of hope for those who dare to dream beyond the confines of their circumstances. He is a reminder that no matter how insurmountable the odds may seem, it is within each of us to rise above and achieve greatness, to be the answer to our own dreams and aspirations. And as Allen's story unfolds before us, we are reminded once more that greatness is not born in moments of ease or comfort, but rather in the crucible of struggle, sacrifice, and relentless determination. It is in these moments that we find the strength to rise, to persevere, and to become the answer to our own destiny. In the twilight of his youth, Allen Iverson stood atop the basketball world, a maelstrom of raw talent and unbridled passion swirling within him like a tempestuous sea. His feet firmly planted on the hardwood, he was the answer to the prayers of millions who yearned for a hero to defy the odds. But as the applause echoed through the arenas and the cameras flashed, little did they know that beneath the glitz and glamour lurked a storm brewing. The years that followed were a roller coaster ride of glory and despair, a testament to the indomitable spirit that resided within Allen Iverson. It began with injuries that threatened to snuff out the flame burning brightly in his heart. A twisted ankle here, a dislocated shoulder there, each setback felt like a dagger plunged deep into his dreams. The pain was unbearable, but so too was the fear of losing the one thing that defined him, the game he loved with every fiber of his being. As Allen grappled with his physical limitations, a different kind of adversity reared its head. The media, ever hungry for sensational stories, circled like vultures, ready to pounce on any perceived weakness or misstep. They questioned his commitment, called him lazy, and ridiculed his every move. But Allen Iverson was made of sterner stuff than that. He bore the brunt of their criticism with stoicism, refusing to be cowed by their words. Yet, even the fiercest storms eventually abate, and so it was with Allen's tumultuous journey. In the crucible of public scrutiny, he emerged stronger, more resolute than ever before. His resolve never wavered. Instead, it hardened like a diamond forged in the fires of adversity. And then came the comebacks, spectacular, breathtaking displays of skill and determination that left spectators speechless. A single game-winning shot, a series-clinching steal, or an electrifying dunk served as reminders that Allen Iverson was not to be underestimated. His critics were silenced, if only briefly, as the world marveled at the magic he wielded on the basketball court. But even as the accolades poured in and the fans cheered his every move, Allen Iverson faced betrayal where he least expected it, within the very walls of the locker room. Teammates turned against him, whispers of discontent growing louder with each passing day. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but Allen refused to let it break him. Instead, he channeled his anger and frustration into fuel for his fire, using their lack of loyalty as motivation to prove them wrong. As the years passed and Allen's once youthful exuberance faded, he found himself grappling with demons both on and off the court. Scandals plagued him, casting a shadow over his legacy that threatened to obscure the brilliance of his play. But through it all, Allen Iverson remained defiant, a symbol of resilience, of the indomitable spirit that refuses to be vanquished by adversity. In the twilight of his career, as he stared down the barrel of retirement, Allen Iverson reflected on the journey that had brought him to this moment. The highs and lows, the triumphs and tragedies, all had shaped him into the man he was today. He had faced the storm and survived, emerging stronger than ever before. And though the applause may have faded, the fire that burned within him remained undimmed, a testament to the indomitable spirit of Allen Iverson, the answer. In the crucible of time, where every second was a battle, Allen Iverson stood at the precipice of destiny, poised to seize the moment that had eluded him like a phantom for years. The arena was a colossus, a cathedral of reverberating echoes and whispered dreams, swayed in the electric anticipation of millions who had borne witness to his unwavering journey. The clock ticked relentlessly, the seconds slipping away like grains of sand through an hourglass. The stage was set for a grand finale, a symphony of sweat and grit where the sweet strains of victory were only moments away from being heard. The basketball court, his sanctuary, felt alien beneath his feet, the hardwood a testament to the countless hours spent in solitude honing his craft. The weight of expectation pressed down upon him like the yoke of Atlas, yet he bore it with the tenacity of a Titan. He stood there, a solitary figure amidst the maelstrom, the cacophony of voices melding into a single, deafening roar that threatened to shatter the foundations of the edifice. His heart raced like a wild stallion, its thunderous rhythm pounding in his chest, drowning out the whispers of doubt and fear that clamored at the edges of his mind. Then, as if a divine hand had reached down to lift the veil of time, the moment arrived. The ball was thrust into his grasp, a symbol of hope and dreams of unfulfilled potential and untapped promise. He felt the sweat seeping through his palms, pooling on the slick leather surface, as he gazed out at the sea of faces that stretched before him like an ocean of possibility. With a deep, steadying breath, Allen Iverson lifted his gaze to the heavens, his spirit soaring above the earthly concerns that had plagued him for so long. He felt a surge of strength coursing through his veins, an indomitable resolve that was born from years of struggle and sacrifice. This was not just another game / up 2014, it was everything he had ever fought for, wrapped into one unforgettable day. And then, with the grace of a dancer and the fury of a lion, Allen Iverson stepped onto the court. The arena erupted in a cacophony of cheers as he weaved his way through a maze of defenders, each step carrying him closer to the precipice of glory. Time seemed to work around him, stretching and contracting like taffy, as if the cosmos itself were bending to his will. In that moment, as he soared through the air, a silhouette against the backdrop of the setting sun, Allen Iverson embodied more than just an athlete. He was a beacon of hope for those who dared to dream, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the human soul. He was the answer, and on this day he would provide the definitive response to the question that had haunted him for so long: what is possible when one dares to reach beyond the confines of conventional wisdom and embrace the boundless potential within? As the final buzzer sounded, as the confetti rained down like a blizzard of dreams, Allen Iverson collapsed to his knees, overcome by a torrent of emotion that threatened to sweep him away. His eyes shone with tears of joy and relief, mirroring the sparkling lights that adorned the arena ceiling above him. He had vanquished doubt and fear, and in their place, he found triumph and redemption. And as he stood there, bathed in the golden glow of victory, Allen Iverson knew that his story would be remembered for generations to come, not as a cautionary tale of a life marred by strife and turmoil, but as a testament to the indomitable spirit of one who dared to dream, who refused to bow to the weight of expectation, and who, in the crucible of time, emerged victorious against all odds. For in that moment, as he stood on the precipice of destiny, Allen Iverson had become more than just a basketball player / up 2014. He had become a legend, a symbol of resilience and perseverance for all those who dared to reach beyond the confines of their dreams. And as the echoes of that unforgettable day reverberated through the annals of history, Allen Iverson stood tall, his spirit soaring above the earthly concerns that had plagued him for so long. For in the end, it was not just a win / up 2014, it was everything he had ever fought for, wrapped into one unforgettable day. It was a testament to the indomitable spirit of one who dared to dream, who refused to bow to the weight of expectation, and who, in the crucible of time, emerged victorious against all odds. This was Allen Iverson's story / up 2014, a story of struggle, triumph, sacrifice, and personal redemption, echoing the spirit of classic underdog tales that resonate deeply with an American audience that values perseverance, resilience, and raw ambition. In the twilight of his illustrious career, Allen Iverson, the man who once danced to his own rhythm on the basketball court, found himself grappling with a foe as elusive as it was merciless time. The once unstoppable force that had left defenders in his wake now seemed to falter, each step heavier than the last. Yet, Allen Iverson was not one to succumb easily. The arena, once a sanctuary where he ruled with an iron will, now felt like a stage upon which his past glories were but echoes of a bygone era. The roars of adoration that once deafened opponents into submission had given way to the whispering winds of doubt. Yet Allen Iverson refused to bow down to this new adversary. He honed his craft, his sweat-soaked brow reflecting the neon lights above as he tirelessly drilled, hoping to regain the magic that once made him unstoppable. His knees, battered by countless leaps and landings, groaned in protest, but Allen Iverson's spirit remained indomitable. As the years passed, the accolades dwindled, replaced by whispers of a career in decline. Yet, Allen Iverson's identity was not defined by statistics or trophies. He was the answer, a title given to him by a teenage boy who had seen his potential and dared to believe in him when no one else did. In the face of adversity, he gave back to the community that had nurtured him, pouring his heart and soul into mentoring young athletes and providing for those less fortunate. He was not just a basketball player, he was a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of perseverance and resilience. As the final buzzer sounded on his career, Allen Iverson stood tall, his head held high as the arena fell silent. The echoes of his past glories still resonated, but they were not the only sounds that filled the air. There was a deeper melody, one that spoke to struggle, triumph, sacrifice, and raw ambition. In the twilight of his career, Allen Iverson had evolved from a basketball player into an icon. His legacy lived on in the hearts of those he inspired, a testament to the indomitable spirit that danced to its own rhythm on the court. The question that still lingers in the minds of fans is not about Allen Iverson's place in history, but rather about their own resilience and determination. For in the face of adversity, they too can find their answer just as Allen Iverson did, and in doing so, they might just discover that they too are capable of greatness. As I close this chapter on Allen Iverson's extraordinary life, I find myself reflecting on the powerful journey we just traversed together. His story, much like him, was an unforgettable blend of resilience, passion, and raw talent that left an indelible mark on the world of basketball and beyond. Allen, the answer, you have been more than a name or a number in our collective memory. You have embodied the spirit of the underdog, standing tall against all odds and inspiring generations to dream, to fight, and to never give up. As we bid farewell for now, I invite you, dear listener, to join me on other such journeys. Subscribe or return as we continue to unravel the extraordinary tales of those who dared to defy expectations and redefine what it means to be human. Until then, remember Allen Iverson's story not just for his triumphs on the court, but for the lessons he taught us about perseverance, sacrifice, and the power of the human spirit. May we carry these lessons with us as we face our own battles, knowing that, like Allen, we too can find our own answers within. Warmly, Elizabeth.